All right, let's jump right in. Every single week, the digital world kind of shifts under our feet. We see new threats, new fixes, and a whole lot of new questions about our safety online. And this week was absolutely no exception, with some major vulnerabilities popping up in some really surprising places. Like, say, that helpful little calendar app you might have installed years ago and completely forgotten about.
Seriously, just think about that for a second. All those tools you rely on every single day. For work, for chatting with friends, for just organizing your life. What if one of them wasn't quite what it seemed to be?
Because that's really the big picture, the main story from this week's security news. The theme isn't about some shady, dark corner of the internet that you know to avoid. Nope. It's about threats that are coming from inside the house, from within the very software we've learned to trust. And that leads us right into our first big theme, this whole idea of an insider threat. But we're not talking about a person here. We're talking about the software itself. Let's dig into how a tool that's supposed to be helpful can actually turn against you.
A perfect and kind of scary example is something called a rogue add-in. So here's how it works. Imagine a developer creates this nifty little extension for your email. It's useful, people love it, and tons of us install it. But then the developer gets bored or busy and abandons the project. Then someone else comes along, buys it up for cheap, and secretly rewires it into a weapon.
And this isn't some made-up scenario. This literally just happened. This week, we found out that a once popular Outlook add-in called Agree2 did exactly that. After it was abandoned, it was turned into a phishing tool that started stealing people's login info and payment data. The number you see? That's 4,000 users. 4,000 people who installed a tool to make their lives easier, only to have it completely betray them.
And it wasn't just this one isolated incident. Oh no. Researchers also dug up 30 different Chrome extensions that were quietly siphoning off user data. At the same time, criminals were pushing out fake downloads of the super popular file tool 7-Zip. But they weren't just stealing data. They were up to something even weirder.
They were turning regular people's home computers into what are called proxy nodes. What does that even mean? Well, once you install that fake software, criminals can basically hijack your internet connection. They can route all their own sketchy, malicious activities through your computer, using your internet address. So to the outside world, it looks like all that bad stuff is coming from you. Your PC basically becomes an unwilling partner in crime.
Okay, so as if our trusted software turning against us wasn't scary enough, the fakes are getting smarter, like way smarter. Those classic scam websites, the ones with terrible grammar and blurry logos that you could spot a mile away? Yeah, those are quickly becoming a thing of the past.
The reason why is AI. Attackers are now using these powerful AI website builders to create pixel-perfect copies of major brand websites. And they can do it in minutes. This just completely changes the game, making it incredibly easy for them to create super convincing, high-quality scams.
And you can see here, spotting the fake is getting really tough. The AI clone might have a URL that's almost right. Maybe they just switched one letter or added a dash. The logo might look 99% perfect, but a really sharp eye might notice the color is just a tiny bit off. The bottom line here is that we all have to be more vigilant than ever. Double-checking, triple-checking every little detail before you even think about entering personal info.
And like I said, this isn't just a what-if scenario. It's happening right now. Scammers are already spinning up these AI-cloned fake shops to go after fans looking for tickets and merchandise for the 2026 Winter Olympics. They're cashing in on that excitement to steal money and data.
So, you might be asking, with threats evolving this fast, what are the big tech companies? The supposed guardians of our digital world. What are they doing about it? Well, this week's news shows they're fighting a non-stop, high-stakes war on a whole bunch of different fronts.
Just look at this lineup from a single week. You've got Apple and Microsoft in an all-out sprint against hackers to fix these critical zero-day flaws. And we'll talk about what that means in a sec. These are huge security holes that are already being used in attacks out in the wild. At the same time, companies like Meta are facing massive trials over platform safety, especially for kids. And then you see others like Discord trying to get ahead of the problem, rolling out new rules to protect their younger users. It's just this relentless cycle of finding flaws, pushing out fixes, and debating who's responsible.
Okay, so I mentioned zero day, and that term gets thrown around a lot. What is it really? Think of it this way. Imagine a burglar discovers that a specific type of lock used on thousands of homes can be picked in seconds. The lock company has literally 0 days notice before the burglar starts breaking into houses.
That's the digital version of what's happening. Criminals find a hole and start exploiting it immediately, forcing companies like Apple and Microsoft into this frantic race to create and release an emergency patch.
So, with all these threats and fixes and corporate battles going on in the background, we get to the most important question of all. What does any of this actually mean for us, for the people using all this tech every single day? This right here, this is the new reality. Perfectly put. Protecting yourself isn't just about installing some antivirus software and calling it a day. That's not enough anymore. It's a continuous process. It's about thinking critically before you install that browser extension. It's about scrutinizing that website URL before you buy something. And it's about understanding that even the biggest companies on the planet are in a constant struggle to keep us safe.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. In this world of constantly changing threats and endless updates, who's really responsible for your digital safety at the end of the day? Is it the companies building the software? Is it the government trying to make rules? Or does the final responsibility fall on us, the users, to be smart and stay vigilant? It's definitely something to think about. Stay safe out there.